my name is Jesus, and I'll be reading the famous speech on Pericles' funeral oration. At the end of the first year of war, the Athenians held, as was their custom, an elaborate funeral for all those killed in the war. The funeral oration over these dead was delivered by the brilliant and charismatic politician and general Pericles, who perished a little bit later in the horrifying plague that devastated Athens the next year. The funeral oration is a classic statement of Athenian ideology, containing practically in full the patriotic sentiment felt by most Athenians. The funeral oration encouraged the sons of the dead and the rest of the citizens to fight and to become soldiers for the great empire and to feel the honor of dying for a cause. He pointed out principles of power, institutions, and the manner of life in which is what had made Athens such a great empire. The men who nobly fought and died and everyone who survived should gladly toil on Athens' behalf. Everyone should see upon the greatness of Athens, feel the love of Athens, and do not allow their virtues to be lost to their country. Pericles paid a tribute in such fitting words and deeds, paid in part for the dead. I'll be reading part of the oration because it is a long speech, and I'll be reading parts I think are most engaging. I have dwelt upon the greatness of Athens because I want to show you that we are contending for a higher prize than those who enjoy none of these privileges, and to establish by manifest proof the merit of these men whom I am now commemorating. Their loftiest praise has been already spoken. For in magnifying the city, I have magnified them, and men like them whose virtues made her glorious. I believe that a death such as theirs has been the true measure of a man's worth. It may be the first revelation of his virtues, but is at any rate their final seal. None of these men were enervated by wealth or hesitated to resign the pleasures of life. None of them put up the evil day in the hope natural to poverty, that a man, though poor, may one day become rich. But deeming that the punishment of their enemies was sweeter than any of these things, and they could fall in no nobler cause, they determined at the hazard of their lives to be honorably avenged and to leave the rest. Make them your examples, and esteeming courage to be freedom and freedom to be happiness. Do not wait too nicely to the perils of war. The unfortunate who has no hope of change for the better has less reason to throw away his life than the prosperous who, if he survive, is always liable to a change for the worse, and to whom any accidental fall makes the most serious difference. To a man of spirit, cowardice and disaster coming together are far more bitter than the death striking him unperceived at a time when he is full of courage and animated by the general hope. Wherefore I do not pity the parents of the dead who stand here. I would rather comfort them. You know that your dead have passed away amid manifold, and that they may be deemed fortunate who have gained their utmost honor, whether an honorable death like theirs, or an honorable sorrow like yours, and whose share of happiness has been so ordered that the term of their happiness is likewise the term of their life. I know how hard it is to make you feel like this, when the good fortune of others will too often remind you of the gladness which once lightened your hearts, and sorrows felt at the one of those blessings, now which a man never knew, but which were a part of his life before they were taken from him. For the love of honor alone is ever young, and not riches as some way, but honor is the delight of men when they are old and useless. To you who are the sons and brothers of the departed, I see the struggle to emulate them will be an arduous one. For all men praise the dead, and however permanent your virtue may be, I do not say even to approach them, and avoid living their rivals and detractors. But when a man is out of the way, the honor and goodwill which he receives is unalloyed. I have paid the required tribute in obedience to the law, making use of such fitting words as I had. The tribute of deeds has been paid in part, for the dead have them in deeds, and it remains only that their children should be maintained at the public charge until they are grown up. This is the solid price with which, as with Garland, Athens crowns her sons living and dead after a struggle like theirs. For where the rewards of virtue are greatest, where the noblest citizens are enlisted in the service of the state, And now, when you have duly lamented everyone his own dead, you may depart. Thank you for listening.